The year 2010 seems to be the year to try new things. Controller-free games, motion controllers, the return of 3D films, classic game rehashes, and of course Sega's mascot trying to turn things around for the better. The Kinect was released early this month with about a dozen launch titles, some a little more appealing than others. The one that caught my eyes was Sonic Freeriders, and with the fabulous Sonic 4, Sega All-Stars Racing, and Sonic Colors all doing so well, this was one game I was hopeful for, especially to experience the Kinect. But was the hype Sega and Kinect built up worth it? The main thing to point out is Sonic Riders is a series that has been around since the GameCube. There is not much of a plot to any of them, but that is to be expected in a racing game. This is also the first game that has the new Sonic cast. To me, it is very hard to accept Chris Redfield, or Roger Smith, as the voice of Sonic, but this may be a good thing for most people because Sonic's voice to many was never sweet harmony to one's ear. Many would prefer him mute. Not me on that note. But that's just one's opinion. All cutscenes have been replaced with flat slideshow effects that really take away from the already mediocre story and at times very childish dialogue. Not to mention, after the wonderfully animated intro you were introduced to, this is a major letdown to have to watch if you want to pay close attention to the story. The game features 6 different zones to race on with missions varying from race against the AI or many mini-missions such as grinding or doing so many air tricks and a time limit for each zone. It's not that different from the previous 2. You can play with up to 4 different teams that have their own story, even though ultimately it seems to be the same story just told from the different perspectives. The game offers many playable characters to unlock, with the cast ranging from the likes of Shadow to Metal Sonic. As you progress through the game and collect rings, you can tune up your gear, you can buy new boards, or bikes entirely. This game features Xbox Live gameplay, which is a major plus. Not to mention, you don't have to wear a headset to talk. You can actually just talk out loud, and the Kinect works as your headset for online talk, which is a really nice feature. There is also split-screen co-op or competitions. The game also works like a Mario Kart clone in the sense that there is power-ups or weapons that can be used to slow down or take out your opponents. But you're not watching this review for all this info. You want to know how the controls work, so let's talk about it. The menus are the first thing I struggled with. No matter how hard I tried, the hand motions were insanely hard for me to master. I'd always spin them the wrong way or pull down the wrong items. Thankfully, it is also voice activated, and this works much better and very well. A lot of the reviews have complained about the controls not being responsive, and I can vouch now that what they are saying is a load of crap. So I want to be very specific on details on where the game delivers and where it fails personally for myself. Positioning yourself to ride the board is very easy. You position yourself as if you were on a skateboard or a snowboard. By leaning forward, you gain momentum. While standing straight, you go at a steady speed. To turn, you simply stay in the same position, but bend at the waist in the direction you want to go. For example, to turn right, you would lean forward. To turn left, you would lean backwards. Of course, if you are facing in the opposite direction when you play this, these controls switch. But it's still simple. My first playthrough, it was very stiff and I felt the players did not turn tight enough, but you really have to get into it as if you were on a real board. Use your arms, stretch them out and use them as you lean, as if you were trying to maintain balance. It really helps. That is the controls for riding. Now throughout the game there are ramps or places you can jump to hit grind rails or to do a tighter turn, and these can be done by jumping in place when you hit the ramp. There is a scoring system for your jumps so you can approach these jumps differently. If you see a ramp coming, you can crouch down to charge up, and when you get to the ramp, you jump. You can also spin in the air with your body, which gives you even more points and a better score. The air you gain can be used for things such as boost, where you simply put your back foot to the ground and pull back as if you were on a skateboard, which propels you forward in a blast of speed. Places in the game you can reach out and grab rings just by simply reaching your arm out, and it works very well. Also, you have the power-ups or weapons, which can vary from a soda can that you can shake in your hand until it explodes, boosting you forward, or a lock-on missile, which just throws as if it was a football. That covers the basics, and it all works very well together, and I feel it delivers excellent gameplay and great response. The area I feel it fails in is in tight areas. Because a lot of different moves can be close to the same motion, the game may do the wrong thing, causing you to lose your place in the race. To give 2 examples, sometimes you may get a power-up that requires you to hold your fist out and shake, and if there's rings around you, it may think you are reaching for those rings, which may move your character closer to the rings and opt you out of your power-up. Also, when you kick your foot for a boost, it thinks you are switching the positioning of your body and the player changes the direction they are facing instead of boosting. Sometimes. Overall, though, that is my only complaint, and it's not that big of an issue. I mean, if you were riding a skateboard in real life and you're trying to lean into a turn and you throw a rocket at someone, it's going to be a little hard to do accurately. Just saying. The game takes practice, and if you do the tutorials and set up the Kinect tuner before you play, you will hardly experience these issues and definitely have a lot of fun. If you're a fan of Sonic or the Riders series, this is a great game to add to the collection. I didn't like the second one that much, and this one I feel was as fun as the first one. If you will take the time to do the tutorials instead of just jumping into the gameplay, you will have a lot of fun with this game. There aren't many games out for the Kinect yet, but this is one of the most fun titles I have played so far besides the Joyride and Your Shape. Though I feel Joyride was much harder to steer than Sonic Free Riders. I would buy the game if I was you. It's not even the full price of a 360 game, but of course I am a Sonic fan. If you've got the Kinect and you're thinking about it, at least give it a rent first, and then decide, because even with a rent, you'll definitely get some good gameplay out of it. I hope you enjoyed my review. Leave any comments below or questions. If you're a social network whore, look in the description bar below, please. Subscribe, rate, and guys, I'll see you next week.